What's up, everybody? Got a Huff's film review for you today. We haven't done one of these in a minute. The last one was probably last night in Soho, which was a great movie. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead, check it out. But today, in today's Huff's film review, we're going to talk about Thor. We're going to give a review for Thor. And really, I saw this movie Thursday opening night with some of my friends. Always got to see movies opening night. That's when, get the claps at the end of the film or that audience reaction that you don't see if you go see it a week later. But really, this film I was mixed about. It was because I love so many things about it, but also I hated some things about it too. So it was really tough with this film going in, having such high expectations, like a lot of Marvel films you go in seeing, like Doctor Strange. There was mixed reviews about that film because everybody was like, the cameos, expected so many shit to happen in the film. And once it didn't, it was like, damn, that film was very mid. That's what everybody's saying nowadays. The film was mid, all that stuff. But this film, I really liked the humor in the film. I thought they did a great job with that, but sometimes it was too much and sometimes it was forced. And really, like, with the humor aspect, everything was funny in the film. So the more serious topics that they try to do, it wasn't as serious because, like, Gore's story, which I think Christian Bale did a great job as a villain, but he wasn't in the film that much. Like, he was a villain for 20 minutes. You couldn't even, like, enjoy his story and follow up with, like, that comic book backstory because he was barely in the film, and the scenes he was in, he was great in, but it left you wanting more from his character. And it was sad because Christian Bale did such a great performance with that. It was so menacing, so scary. And all the other characters, though, I think Jane Foster, I think Natalie Portman's role with that was great and it was heartwarming, but, it's not really a spoiler, but she had cancer in the film. And really that part of it was like, you can't really have heart and sympathy for that because, everything was a joke. But I think her as Thor, as a she-Thor or whatever, as Thor, was really great. She did a great performance with that. The fighting scenes was great with that. And hats off to her. But I think this film was so much different than Thor Ragnarok. And Thor Ragnarok, 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a highly rated film, great film. And with that film, you expected so much more in this film for it to have that same level of humor, same level of action, you wanted it to be perfect because, Thor Ragnarok was great. But this film, it's enjoyable. You can enjoy it, but at the same time, heading into it, the expectations are so high, you'll be disappointed if you go in expecting it to be like every other Marvel film. And like a lot of those Marvel films, you can tell the difference from every other Marvel film, from even Doctor Strange, Spider-Man No Way Home. This Marvel film was its own, it was cartoonish. Like, it was like totally different in every aspect. The humor, stand alone for the humor, but definitely going into this movie, if you go see it, definitely do not compare it to any other Marvel movie. It's its own kind of movie. It's a different take on a superhero film. And really with his vision, the director's vision, I thought like he did a great job, but as an MCU fan, it leaves you wanting more. And I love Thor in it. I love him being funny and stuff, but you got to find a balance. You got to find, because in the original Thor films, Thor is not really saying jokes every line in the film. And he's more of a serious, more action-packed kind of thing. And this different take on Thor is great. You love him having more of a personality, but at the same time, it's just, you got to find that perfect balance. There's no perfect formula for that, but I just really wish that there was more time on other characters and more the characters especially we were looking forward to, because everybody came out and said Gore the God Butcher was going to be a really great villain, and you're expecting to see that menacing villain for a great portion of this film, and you missed out on that with this one. And I liked Valkyrie. I liked Tessa Thompson as in her role. I thought she was funny. She had great chemistry with Jane Foster. That too, even with their duo, you rarely got to see that in the film. you saw bits and pieces of it, and you're like, oh, this is great. I like their chemistry together. But again, like that really wasn't given a lot of time in this film. And Thor and Jane Foster, you know, their romance together, that was given a lot of time, and it was great to see. I loved every part of them. It was great emotion in those pieces. You saw him feeling for her having cancer, and at the end when she was getting ready to pass away, when she came back and fought, and though that emotion they had together was great. This is probably their best romance in any of the Thor films, because I think they harped on it a little more than they did in the original films, and they added humor to it, which was great. Everybody loves humor, but that was the one thing I was happy about, that they gave that dynamic a lot more time and a lot more focus. But it really got a lot. It got too much chunk of the film focusing on them, you know. And with this film, there was a lot of parts that felt long, like a lot of scenes where it's like, oh, all right, you know. And you know, my girlfriend fell asleep during this film. And it's usually crazy because during Marvel movies, she's more engaged, more focused and locked in, not missing, enjoying it. And she's not really a big MCU fan, but she was not focused in this film, tired, bored her to sleep halfway through. She's saying she's not feeling it, and going ahead and saying some crazy talk like Morbius was better than this film. Now, if you haven't seen Morbius, at least you know Morbius was probably one of the least favorited Marvel movie. It was rated very low, and fans purposely wanted them to come out and play it again in theaters just so the numbers can do bad. That's how bad it was. But this Thor film, I think you'll still be able to you'll be able to enjoy it, but at the same time, I think there will be some disappointment. But I'm a huge fan of this director. I had high expectations. I think it was still funny and still great film, but it's just so much in between, so much you hate it. You hate a lot of parts of it, and you love a lot of parts of it. But if you haven't gone and seen it, go ahead and go out and see. It's still a great opportunity to go out and see the movies. In comparison to some other films I've seen this year, Black Phone, very high on the list. That film, if you haven't seen Black Phone, go ahead and see it. That's a different type of thrill. I was so surprised how good that film was. And I had hella high expectations going in. Top Gun is another film that was great. And of course, the movie that's taken over the world, Minions. Go ahead and see that. Not if you're dressed in a suit. You're going to get your ass kicked out. But that's all I have for the film review. With this film, Thor, Love and Thunder, I give it a nice 8 out of 10. And that's being really generous. I'm seeing 7 and 10s, 4 out of 10s. I'm seeing a lot. You'll be mixed reviews for this, a lot of mixed reviews for this film. So really, to have your own own interpretation of this film, go see it for yourself. Go in with an open mind. And you know, people tell you, oh, if you gotta have your own thoughts about the film, you gotta have form your own opinion about the film. The film's most likely trash. But like I said, go out and go see it. Get your own interpretation of it. Don't pay attention to what everybody else is saying, because you might love it and your girlfriend might hate it and think Morbius is better. So who knows? But as always, that's the Huff Film Review. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Peace.